Before 2008, Bear Stearns was one of America's most powerful banks. It managed billions of dollars and employed thousands of workers. Investors trusted the company with their life savings. Profits were rising and confidence was high. To many people, the bank looked unstoppable. But behind the success, dangerous risks were quietly growing. Bear Stearns invested heavily in mortgage-backed securities. These investments were tied to thousands of housing loans. At the time, housing prices were rising across America. Millions of families rushed to buy homes quickly. Banks approved loans faster than ever before. But many of these loans were extremely risky. Soon, homeowners began struggling to pay their mortgage. Housing prices suddenly stopped rising and began falling. Investors started noticing serious financial losses. News reports warned that the housing market was weakening. Confidence in the system slowly began to disappear. The cracks inside the financial system were spreading fast. Investors watched nervously as financial losses kept increasing. Phone calls flooded offices as clients demanded answers. News stations began reporting serious problems at major banks. Inside the bank, employees whispered about possible collapse. Outside, investors gathered, fearing the worst was coming. Panic was spreading faster than anyone expected. Employees rushed to secure funds and protect accounts. Investors watched helplessly as stock prices continued falling. Financial analysts confirmed losses were growing dangerously large. Emergency meetings were called late into the night. Executives realized the situation was becoming uncontrollable. Time was running out, and collapse was becoming unavoidable. Top executives gathered urgently to discuss the bank's survival. Loss reports showed the bank was bleeding billions of dollars. Every hour, losses increased at a frightening speed. Executives called investors, begging for emergency support. But many investors refused to risk more money. Confidence had collapsed and trust was disappearing fast. Soon, government officials stepped in to assess the crisis. They reviewed documents showing dangerous levels of debt. Urgent talks began between bankers and government leaders. Late-night meetings continued as time ran out quickly. Inside the bank, employees feared losing their jobs. By now, it was clear that collapse was almost certain. Desperate talks began to find a buyer for the failing bank. Several banks were contacted to consider rescuing Bear Stearns. One bank showed interest in stepping forward. Negotiations began under intense time pressure. This deal became the bank's final chance to survive. The buyer was identified as JPMorgan Chase. Government officials supported the emergency rescue plan. A deal was finalized under extreme pressure. The announcement shocked investors across the world. Breaking news reported the emergency sale publicly. Many investors could not believe what had happened. The shocking price revealed just how desperate things were. When the sale price was revealed, investors were stunned. Bear Stearns was sold for an unbelievably low price. Many investors questioned how this could happen so quickly. A bank once worth billions had collapsed almost overnight. Initially, the bank was sold for only $2 per share. This price shocked markets across the financial world. Investors feared other banks might collapse next. Stock markets reacted quickly to the shocking news. Panic spread rapidly throughout global financial markets. Confidence in major banks began collapsing everywhere. Leaders worldwide rushed to prevent wider financial disaster. But the collapse of Bear Stearns was only the beginning. The collapse of Bear Stearns sent shockwaves across global markets. Investors feared that more banks could collapse soon. Thousands of employees suddenly faced uncertain futures. Experts later warned that warning signs had been ignored. Bear Stearns became the first domino to fall, and soon an even bigger collapse would shake the world.